Hey guys, I'm just back on site at a little kedron renovation. The plasterers, as you would have seen in the last video, the plasterers were starting to do some sheeting. Before they start setting, I just wanted to run through with you guys how the plastering process works and give you a few little tips on something that our plasterers do on all of our jobs. So, look, this is a renovation. So in the old house, we've only patched and replaced where we needed to. I'll show you why in a second, but the plasterer is now coming through. You'll see here, starting to put all these metal angles on. So that's how he sets the corners and gets a nice square, straight finish. But if you come up into this room here, we don't normally do this on a lot of jobs, but you'll see above me we've got these beautiful ornate ceilings. So to avoid risking any damage or ruining them, we've only just cut and replaced exactly where we needed to. So you'll see behind me here, we've cut in a new doorway, and then behind me there, we've filled in an old doorway. So what happens now, once the plasterer's got his sheet on, to get a smooth finish on your walls, they go through and put a setting compound. So the setting compound goes over all your joins and all your corners. So if you look up here, where we've got these openings, again, the plasterer's come through and he's putting all these metal angle on. So he goes along with a level and a straight edge. So I'll just show you one that hasn't been done. If we come to this other part of the house, so they're still tidying up their sheeting here. They've got to finish sheeting the skylight up there. But if you look at one of these corners, so you'll see here, this is what it looks like before they put their metal angle on. So the board is just cut, you've got the raw end of the plaster, and then to get a nice square finish on your corners, you come through and you put this metal beading on. So the beading gets glued and stapled on, and they do that with a level and a straight edge, and that makes sure, like above me there, the opening I just walked through, that makes sure that that opening is nice and level, and then down all your corners, down the walls, make sure they're all nice and straight and plumb. But one thing I wanted to show you guys here is, you'll see above my head here, so along the top here, so anywhere, so this is older plasterboard, and then you got new plasterboard. So that pink that you can see on there, the plasterer has sprayed a glue, a priming glue over the old paintwork. So a lot of the times on renovations, it stands out really badly. You'll see where plasterwork's being joined to old, new to old, and what happens is the new plaster, the setting compound, doesn't stick to the old paint, and it ends up flaking, cracking. You end up with a horrible joint. You always see the joint, but by the plasterer's done it exactly how, or properly, this is what you're supposed to do here. We've put a primer on the old paint, and that when they set, so by set, that's what happens when the plasterer comes through with a setting compound, and in the house you see these big white stripes. They're putting their setting compound on, and that's hiding the joint in the board. So by us putting this primer on here and getting all that nice and primed, and underneath there, because that's all got to get set as well, the setting compound will stick to the old paint, and it's nice and hard and solid. So that way there's no risk when the job's finished, the painter's here and doing all the paint work, that the plaster, the setting compound and the paint is going to flake off from the old paint. So guys, just another little tip, and just something else we do as per everything on a D Pearce Constructions project. We like to go over the top. We build things to last. So look, if any builder tells you they don't have problems, they're kidding themselves. Every builder has issues because there's so many new products, there's so many new ways of doing things, it's always changing, but a good builder learns from their mistakes. So we've had some issues in the past with this sort of stuff where we've had plaster and paint flaking off old paint, and we've put systems and processes in place, and we talk to our trades, they talk to us, and we solve the problem. So on any of our renovation work now, this is what happens. The plasterer goes around, puts this priming glue on the old paint, and that way we get a spot on finish. Cheers guys.